Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Typical Skeptic Podcast. I'm really excited about my guest tonight. It's my good friend IndigoAngel. Tonight she's going to be talking about a massive UFO in Greenland and Hyperborean Gateway and Moai the grid connection. And a little bit more, about my guest IndigoAngel is a cutting-edge metaphysical researcher, grid worker, an interdimensional decoder known for her deep dives into planetary architecture, ancient timelines, and hidden extraterrestrial influences. Her work spans Stargate systems, Hyperborean and Atlantean histories, crystalline grid mapping, and advanced esoteric geopolitics. She is widely followed for her intuitive intelligence, powerful clairvoyant analysis, and real-time breakdowns of global energetic events. And with all that said, I'd like to give her a big warm welcome back to the show. Indy, thanks so much for coming back on. How are you?
I'm good, Rob. How are you doing tonight? It's good to be here with you and everyone watching.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is cool.
Yeah, I think this information is it's trending, so to speak. It's been making its way through the community. And so I think it's good that we kind of visit the subject and the topic and kind of get into the, depth of what's being uncovered because there's a lot of theories being juggled right now, to be honest with you. Um, people saying different things, having different ideas of how long it's been there, or how this ties into the Galactic Federation, or how this ties into the Guardian Alliance, or how this ties into the Hyperborean gate system. And then there's, the idea that is it even really actually there or not, because if you try to Google pictures of this UFO, I mean, of course, you're not going to find anything. There's no like actual substantial evidence. It's just going off of the account of one particular person, which is his name is David Wynn Miller, in which this guy has a pretty interesting background and story as well.
Why?
Uh,
What's up with this dude? Where'd he come from, and who is he?
I mean, it's a little mysterious. I've just started to kind of research him and his work. But in my opinion, of just what I'm hearing about him, he is a contactee. He sounds to me like a contactee, to be honest with you. He's passed though.
Uh,
He passed in 2018, so I don't think we could like get in contact with him and, do an interview or show or anything. But he has a very interesting story. He was considered a pseudo legal theorist. So kind of like a pseudoscientist, but like for the legal system.
huh.
And he considered himself to be a self-proclaimed judge and a tax protester. And he started the movement Sovereign Citizen.
Huh.
Um, I think what's interesting about him and what's making me think like he was a contactee is when I go into like some of his bio and history, he talks about like almost like building his own constructed language for the legal system. He called it correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar. And this is how people found out about this UFO is he actually gave like a 2012 like quantum grammar conference, or something that he spoke at, basically, where I think he was talking more so about his syntax grammar. Um, when I start hearing words like syntax and quantum grammar and things like this, quantum math communications, it immediately starts to make me think that he was being contacted. Why? Because if you go back and look at his background, um, this is interesting. He said at the age of 25, he died for half an hour. A surgeon removed both his kidneys and adrenal glands, and his heart restarted spontaneously while outside of his body during an autopsy.
What?
Oh wait, that's when he
Are
died.
you serious?
Yes, yes. And so following this, when he came back to life or whatever, he said his IQ became 200, his endorphin levels were 6 times normal, and he stopped aging. Um, and really, I think for anyone to like develop their own syntax or language, your IQ would have to have been like really upgraded. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but obviously, like something happened because he's no longer with us, right? He's not on this earth. Like, so, like, what do you think they took him out or something?
I mean, This very possible. I think this is definitely an unraveling mystery.
Yeah, we
Um,
gotta go. We can do a whole show on David Ruiz Miller or whatever his name is. Like for real, we gotta look into this dude.
yeah, David Lynn Miller, he's the guy who, talks about the UFO. So do you want me to do a screen share just because I did kind of put together some of my pictures as I usually, it's nice to have them to kind of tie it into what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, it's all good. Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
and I put his picture
Oh,
on the
do
UFO thing.
you need me to give you permission to screen share?
Yes, I just sent you a
Oh, oh
request.
yeah, you know Zoom better than me. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
You know, um, let
I
me see, I
can't
don't even
believe
know
it.
the name of it.
Speaking of which, I can't believe I forgot to make the links for tonight. Like, so guys, like there is a show after this too. Like somehow I forgot to make the links completely, I don't know what I was doing today. I advertised. So like all you that are tuning in now, you saw me advertise. I advertised on every platform, the thumbnails, but I forgot to make the links. I don't know what
I
happened.
think you were preparing for the mini ice age that's coming your way, wouldn't you say?
Well, yeah, I had to go out and do some things. Plus, my mother's sick and stuff like that, so I was trying to help her and yeah,
Yeah.
it's been kind of crazy. Yeah, like dealing with just yeah. There is a big bad storm coming our way, right? Like especially here in Pittsburgh, we're gonna get hammered. It's gonna be like 12 inches of snow at least. It's gonna be like really bad. I would supposedly that's what they say, right?
I think they named it like Winter Storm Fern or something. It's
Oh,
called Fern. Yeah, they named it Fern.
well, you know what's going to be interesting, and I hate to say this, and I hope nothing comes out of this, but like, I hope there's no casualties. You know what I mean? I hope like somebody doesn't get like totally blizzarded out, and like you know what I mean, like how they
Yeah.
did like the hurricanes, like you know what I mean, like where people can't move out of their houses because of a blizzard, or I don't know. I mean, you know what they can do with the weather. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Well, they said 18 of the states have declared state of emergency, but I feel like this is somewhat tentative because, like, I think the only places that and maybe I'm wrong, that are actually being affected right now are Texas and Louisiana. Like, they're getting the first of the ice storm right now.
are they really?
Yeah, I think so. But
Wow.
they said 18 other states will claim Alabama, Arkansas, Delaware, Georgia, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, Missouri, New Jersey, New York, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia.
So not Florida. You're going to be out of it.
I think they said if anything hits, it will be like mobile to Tallahassee. So I would basically get something, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
It's not
you're
so
like
bad right now. It's not like cold or anything.
yeah, yeah. It's freezing here. It's like it says that I can. I wish I could show you my thermometer right now. It's 11 degrees. It's like it's yeah. It's pretty, and that's not like with the wind chill. It's even colder. So like when they say wind chill, it means like when like when the wind blows. It's bad. It's bad. And I've
Yeah.
been going out in this stuff and walking because I want to get exercise. I hate being cooped up inside. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe this is the weekend you have to use that treadmill you got or something to
Yeah,
like,
no, I will. I use it a lot, but I mean, you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah, like, but so what? Okay, so where are we going to go next? So, sorry, I didn't mean to get you off course.
Oh, no worries. Well, I think it's good to talk about the storm. I'm sure a lot of people watching are experiencing it. And, you know, like if you are in those states, like you probably should be preparing for a winter storm just in case. Like, one thing I think we always do here in Florida, like for the hurricanes, is like make sure you are prepared for at least 3 days if something shuts down, because like with that severe ice, because they said like 1 inch of ice is already like 50 pounds on the electrical wires and stuff. So like once it goes like 2 inches of ice, like it can really shut down the whole power grid. So we might be looking at like a power grid shutdown in some of these places.
Yeah,
So like if you have a generator or at least 3 days of food, that's probably, you know, most important, if something happens. Because it's like if your power goes down, you don't even have water. I mean, that's how scary it can get and quickly.
Yeah, it is, and that's what worries me about what we know about what they can do with the weather. You know,
Speaking of weather, this UFO in Greenland apparently is a weather modification um, technology. So
yeah.
this is why I said there's a lot of theories about all of this. Let me put the screen down and pull up the one I wanted to show you.
And
Um,
guys, like so for those of you that will be stuck in like me all weekend, hopefully there will be podcasts for you. So not just there won't be two shows tonight, but I have two shows scheduled for tomorrow, and I'm not going to announce who they are because it always gets ruined if I do. And then, I'll come up with something for Monday too. We'll have a show Monday, and then me and you, Indy, have a show on the 27th. We have Jerry Wills coming on in 3 days.
oh yeah, that's
Sorry
great.
about
I'm
that.
so excited. That was one of the ones you didn't want to give a spoiler alert on, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, he was the dude who went through the Stargate in what was it, Pumapunku or Peru or something like that, or you know what I mean? It was on Guy
Machu Picchu?
or Wyndham Molten Howers, one of those shows. Like he maybe Machu Picchu, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that's the dude that we're interviewing, So
What did
that's
you
on the
call it?
27th,
Punka
guys.
Punko? Punka Punko?
That's a TSP Indigo Angel special, like so. I'm excited for that. Yo, what's up with this dude's haircut?
That's what I'm saying. Like this guy looks like a real freaking like contactee to me. Like he looks like somebody who was like, the tinfoil hat wear type, just his whole background. Like
This dude's fade is off. I mean, geez, oh man, it looks weird. I mean, like his head looks like a UFO. You know what I mean? Like,
he definitely has that look in his eye, like that crazy, like like the whole conspiracy, like
like
that's why I'm like,
I'm demented.
I think he's a real contactee, honestly.
I'm demented, and I'm in the UFO community face.
Yeah. No, he kind of looks like
I'm kidding.
oh no, he
I'm
kind of
kidding.
looks like Corey Good or something a little bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. He definitely is. He's in that court. Yeah, that's hilarious. Holy shit. Holy
Well, and I
shit.
feel like I had to bring this up because I had been getting tagged so much on Facebook and YouTube where people are like, you got to look into David Wynn Miller and like what he's talking about the craft. So I just want to say if you're following anyone, because this was something that kind of came across our awareness the other day, if you're following anyone who's saying they've like channeled this UFO or it's like they're saying it's like directly coming from them, like I think they're
Wait,
probably blowing a little smoke.
Joyful Jennifer in the audience thinks that his hair is his hat. That's not a hat. That's his hair.
Really?
That's not a hat. That's his hair, I think.
I got it off his Wikipedia page.
Because you can
So
see his sideburns, Jennifer. You know what I mean? Like
it
it's
does look like a hat a little bit, but it's hard to tell.
no, look at his sideburns. You can see that it like fades into his sideburns. That's a haircut. I don't know what kind of haircut, but it's definitely a haircut. Like I mean, I mean,
Maybe it's his radio receiver so you can get information downloads. Come on.
uh,
It's in disguise. It's underneath his toupee.
oh God, I shouldn't laugh because I'm getting up at the age where I could start losing hair, and I don't want to lose any hair, right? At least yet, I mean, like I'm
You're
still
doing pretty good, yeah, for not like your age and not having.
knock on wood, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the best we're gonna do get for an image. They're saying it's anchored in the center of Greenland, and when it landed, it created the last ice age 50,000 years ago, and that it's not necessarily a UFO, it's a weather machine. And it's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, 200 miles high, and the people that lived in it, they're saying that this craft brought down the Moais. So you know that all the like I call them the Thousand Guardian Island, Easter Islands, Rapa Nui, the
Yeah,
Moais, that these beings actually came from this ship, that that this came in during the timeline of Hyperborea. And I think that that could match, to be honest with you, that this could match with the Hyperborean timeline because, Hyperborea was when the fall of man occurred. This was where, like, I guess you could say it was probably the most massive timeline split where like all the electric wars took place. And also
well,
one
I was going to say, but this is a massive gate or Stargate system, right? Too, like this area, like this is where a lot of where UFOs or whatever could be coming in, right?
Yeah, I think that we're just starting to crack this egg. You know what I mean? Like it's wild. Like the activations we're getting every time we talk about Greenland, we're just getting like new stuff coming in so fast because it's like we're literally uncovering like yeah. It's beyond. It's phenomenal what's coming through, to be honest with you. First I thought this was a UFO, and then I'm getting like, connecting in with the Guardians, and I'm like, no, this is something, this is not UFO. I'm getting like this is actually like some people are saying weather modification, but I'm thinking that this is what kind of dawned on me is that this might be connected to the moon. Because now if we talk about when the moon's satellite, the artificial satellite came in, and that was during the Hyperborean time as well. So Hyperborean timeline matches up. I'm wondering if this device, not only weather modification, but time modification, time lapsing technology, if this is also some sort of device that is what keeps the moon and the artificial moon in our orbit.
Whoa, that
This
would
is what's coming to me.
Yeah, and I just want to say that guys, like you're gonna hear this first here because like a lot of people copy what Indigo Angel says. I'm not just saying that because she's my friend. I'm saying that because it's what I know, and I'm not saying she has to be first or anything, but she channels a lot of good information. So, I just wanted to throw that out there, and I'm not gonna name anybody who copied your information. I'll just let it be known that, people are kind of biting your style a little bit.
Yeah, thanks for throwing that out there. Because it is kind of true. I mean, not that I don't try to pay attention to it too much because I do like to genuinely just stay in my lane, but sometimes I'll be flipping through things and I'll notice like, wow, this is just blatantly like similar exactly what I'm posting.
You
You know
seemed
what I
really
mean?
upset about it last night. That's why I figured I wanted to bring it up.
Yeah, well, it's not fun when people copy or take your stuff and they don't like ever mention anything about you. It's
I
kind of like,
know.
hey, you know?
And some of these people have huge channels and they're getting promoted by the algorithm and they're getting promoted by the system. Whereas like we get strikes, we don't get the benefit of like getting promoted by the algorithm. We have to promote to like 20 different platforms just to like get our shit out there, guys. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's like I don't know, you
Well,
know.
we're not kissing the gray aliens' assholes. We're not. We're exposing so much truth that we go against so many of the power cards that hold the algorithms in place. Like people who literally have control over the algorithms, like in our community, that are like in with the elitist groups and like the CIA organizations and all of that.
Well,
Like
yeah,
we
these
don't bow
people
down to that. Yeah.
they take payouts. Like someone, it's like I said when I had Journey to Truth on. They'll get approached by someone and they'll offer them money, and then they want them to steer a narrative a certain way. You know what I mean? So they'll mix in a lot of like good information with like misinformation. You know what I mean? So that's why they would take someone's information like yours and put it on their channel, but then at the same time, then they'll have maybe a video about misinformation or something that really doesn't make sense, and you're like, wait a minute, this guy or this girl, whoever, I'm not calling anybody out. I'm saying these people had really good information, but now they're saying this. It's like it's bizarre. You know what I mean? Well, it's not bizarre. It's what I just said. You know what I mean? And I really actually truly believe that. You know what I mean? Wholeheartedly. But I mean, that's why I always have you on my show. Because I think you have really good, quality, original information. Plus you're one of my best friends, so
Uh, Thanks. You're one of my best friends too, Rob. Yeah. So, yeah, we have each other's back, and that's really cool and commendable. And of course, I have so much love and respect for you and all of my family with Typical Skeptic podcast, the whole crew. It's so much fun to pop into all of the group chats and just say hi, and everybody's always like in good spirits. It's like a really good group of people that come together. So,
thanks. Yeah.
yeah.
I wanted to grow, but I mean, yeah, well, sorry, but I didn't mean to get you off track here.
It's okay. It's okay. Yeah.
But
Well,
no, what you're saying is this was tied into the moon, which is like, that's fascinating.
I mean, I kind of have my I guess it's some of my theories, and I feel like I need to like decode more of that. But I've always wondered, what's tying or keeping that artificial satellite here. And it's always comes down to what type of technology they're using in the North and the South Poles. So that'll bring me into something I want to tie in, which is like the Draco seals and some of the secret um, military operations that have been going on in Greenland since like the 1800s. I mean, there's been all kinds of quests to go up there and to, solidify these bases where they've dug out tunnels um, and underground facilities through the ice, essentially. So it leaves a lot of open speculation that they would have been building these military bases to probably, dig out underneath the snow to this technology, whatever this ultimately is. This guy's saying it's a UFO craft. People are saying it's, weather modification systems. There's really a lot of potentials of what it's doing. I think that, the weather modification thing is a possibility because if they do have some sort of controller device on our planet, they could control like the climate stress, the climate change when it is actually happening. Don't you find it kind of interesting that Greenland hasn't melted any snow at all? And basically it goes down to, uh, let me see. I mean, it comes all the way down to Canada here. I mean, nothing, we don't have any snow here. You know what I mean? And we don't have any snow here. Why is it that Greenland is just retaining the ice? 18,000 foot ice cap
Wow, that's insane.
that hasn't melted at all. And it's really the only place in the northern region that hasn't melted. So I find that a little bit odd. Um, Another thing that I find odd is, and I was trying to figure out, where is the exact location of this UFO? I think there's a couple potential probabilities or locations that it could be located, or maybe it's just so big that it's actually genuinely taking up the entire center of Greenland itself. And that is another reason why that snow hasn't melted. It's actually keeping something secret. Um, but what I thought was a potential here, because I like to kind of decode, is remember we talked about this area over here, and we talked about this being a passageway or a gateway, how we talked about how those broken up like icebergs here, that this is actually a portal here.
Yeah, yeah.
Like a cryoplasma Stargate opening and portal. Well, I find it very interesting because um, Canuck is where the Thule military bases are. And this goes back to the Nazis. This goes back to where I think they could have began building tunnels or underground operations. Of course, they would probably be tunneling into Greenland, right? To get to whatever would be at the center of it. And then there's also another base on this side. It's called the
They probably
Pacific
already
Base
have
Base.
passageways to Greenland. If we go by what Gene Decode says, if the whole underground is really mapped out, which we probably know it probably is, there's probably passageways to Greenland. I'm guessing that probably started with the Nazis, and then I'm guessing we just didn't acquire paperclip scientists. We probably acquired like German blueprints as to how to get underground, and because I have a feeling the Nazis connected with inner Earth beings. I'm just guessing this, and then when we, back in World War II, we maybe did something with the Nazis where we learned how to get underground as well, and they taught us, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to run that by Gene Decode to see what he says, or how the whole deep underground started.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're definitely overdue to like run this information by him and see what he's come up with because I mean, as far as I know, this was the Nazi base. Like this was the Thule military base. And now it's a US military base. So I'm like, was there some sort of contract, some sort of exchange for those tunnel systems through those blueprints, you know? So that's very interesting. This base was somehow handed over. And, again, why are the bases in an area that we know there is a massive, energetic anomaly that's occurring right here, just on this side specifically? Um,
Yeah.
And then it's funny if you draw a line over to the actual other side. Um, on this side, you have another secret army base, and this one is Denmark's base. And I actually tried to zoom into this one because I was like, well, now what is this little base over here doing? And right, because it's just like really in the middle. This is very hidden, very hidden. Look at that, right? Like, how are they even getting in there? So you know there's got to be some sort of secret openings and passageways. Um, and yeah, if you just go all the way in, I mean, you can see it is a base. They have a road in there. You can see.
What do you think? I mean, I think we kind of talked about this, but what do you think Trump's obsession with Greenland is? Like, there has to be more than what we're thinking, right? Like, there has to be something there. It has to be strategic in some way that he wants that. You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, you'd think militarily or something. I don't know. I don't.
Well, I think it's, he's coming, he's the United States president. And there is an overall underlying prophecy of Turtle Island, of the United States expanding, the light of the world. And I think he's motivated by something spiritually, to be honest with you. Like it does seem very geopolitical, and it definitely is in the 3D, 1D to 3D Earth planes. But I think on a higher level, it's um, global northern territory domination. Um, they call it national security, but I think it's grid security. If you look at what future prophecy would uphold, right? It would hold um, humanity being secured in the event of cataclysmic or devastation or Armageddon timelines. And so for Greenland to be secured under particular authorities, such as the United States or whatever, like it would guarantee refuge, future refuge site. It would guarantee um, not only the refuge, but protection from solar radiation, protection from any sort of like solar storms and cataclysmic like upheaval. So I do think that it's some sort of a grid recalibration of reorganizing the power structures and bringing the attention back up to the northern polar region, where if you control this region, and think about what we're discovering now, just having this conversation, we're discovering stargates, we're discovering plasma vortexes, we're discovering a 50,000-year-old ancient UFO craft that is potential weather modification and controlling the satellite of the moon. Like, um, if you control these powerful gate systems, you basically control and dominate the entire signal of the planet, because there's a lot of encoding that goes into the grid infrastructure here. And mind you, Greenland, it is at the head of the aurora plasma uh, control structures on the planet, right? Like all of those major gateways that really dictate the quantum field of the whole planet. Like, I really think this is so much more than just territory or oil or gas or land. I really think it's some sort of calling from the deep blue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, because they could be controlling the ice cap from here. Like they could be, they like, think about that. Think about, not only could they be hiding this technology under the ice, but they could be hiding more things under there. I mean, this could really be something that is seal management, like planetary seal management.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because if those ice caps melt, you got a whole other problem on your hands. If those ice caps melt, you got a flooding of the whole, because the ocean levels rise, and then you're looking at like catastrophe in major ways. You know what I mean? So maybe they want to control that too. Like.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. And also this Nord station belongs to Denmark. Now, this is very interesting. I almost feel like this somehow connects in with like galactic, like military command and stuff, because they're saying that there's like a Syrian portal through this one, that they actually hold like there's like some sort of Syrian dog star Stargate vortex to this portion of Greenland itself.
Yeah.
And even if you look at like the Denmark police presence that's there, like they have like the Sirius Stargate like on their military uniforms, and also they do the dog sled patrols as well, like Sirius the dog star. Like there's a lot of connections to Sirius, which is interesting.
Huh.
Um, so yeah, I think that the UFO could be really located between those two stations, military stations, because I mean, all they'd have to do is build tunnels to the inside of it and then be operating with whatever technology is here underneath it. And then also, or it could be lower because there's and this is now what this actually comes from, David Wynn's what he says. But he says there's a grid ley line that actually runs down from the UFO to Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan pyramids and down to Easter Islands, Rapa Nui, to the Moai heads. So that, the Moais would have landed in the craft and then somehow migrated down to Easter Islands, whether that was prior to separation of the continents, but that would have been a big deal, basically. And this is where I think that this also ties into guardian implications, because from a lot of my understanding is the Moai heads are guardian in origin.
Wow.
Um, yeah, because one of the things, and I think I had a picture. Let me see.
I'm just gonna keep it. I'm gonna turn off my camera for a second. Go ahead.
Oh, wait. So this is the ley line. I was just reading what I wrote here. So yeah, Greenland is the crown node source point. Washington, D.C. becomes the surface control interface. Yucatan becomes the pyramid grid amplifier because obviously to power the grids. Rapa Nui becomes the defender grid anchor field with the Moai moats acting like stabilizing roots into the planetary body. And these are just some more like images of it with the Moais, I guess you could say, being inside the craft. Um, And then, them coming outside of the craft, them finding their way down to Rapa Nui, Easter Islands. This ley line
That's
here does not match up at all, but everything going good over there?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so and then this is what goes back to prophecy when you're just like, why does Donald Trump, why do you think he's like doing this? It's kind of like, well, you have to think about these things. These things are tied to ancient, active planetary defense systems. Okay, this is a geopolitical move of defense. It is mirroring the spiritual grid structure of defense, which we have ancient defender defense systems built into our planet. The Moai heads are the apex of that. They always have been. Basically, because what the oral traditions are is that these statues, they are summoned and they can actually be moved around through specific powers if you can activate them. If somebody holds the 12D body template, they hold, certain ancient, bloodline, and they have the particular codes of 12D sound healing and light, they can move the Moai heads. And there's something, that if there's like an actual movie that's out, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it's like they had to go dig up these heads like right before a comet like hit the earth. And then if it's like the fifth element, right? Like if you get all of these things like in the right positions and coordinates, da 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 with the element, and then before the comet hits the earth and everybody dies, like the power shoots out of the earth and then like it defends the earth.
Yeah.
That's like how this whole system is meant to work. That's how it's meant to work. Like at least the Moais, anyways, on Easter Islands. Um, so it's pretty significant. It's what's on Easter Islands is a crystal star fire gate system, and they're generators of evolutionary movement catalyzing highest pathways of planetary ascension. They're also connected to the Lemurian light network. So there's like living light matrices in the planet that uphold the prophecy structures, right? So it's all connected. It's literally like, wow, yeah. It feels like we're hitting like at the core of like Earth's history. It feels like we're hitting at the like if we could go straight to the core of the Amenti sphere, I feel like this is like the ancient gateway to the core of the Amenti sphere, like what we're talking about right now. Like it's that powerful.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, yeah, and this is how you know is like these ancient Moai heads are connected to the four pillars of man, like the four stability pillars. They hold all the alpha omega codes. They hold all the connections to the galactic core, the 144 genetic codes, the 12D Earth avatar body, and then also the four angels of the four directions that the old wives' tale. And this is known. This is ancient traditions, past oral traditions passed down from the Rapa Nui on the island. They say that the four angels of the four directions were the first born into the planetary body, that they held the highest frequencies of defense
Wow.
for 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 humanity. So it's like the Moais embody this, you know, and it's interesting that this is tying back to the craft. Now, this is the most information I have ever got about the Moais origins ever. So it's very interesting, right?
Yeah. Hell
Very
yeah.
interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's what I was pointing out in this picture. Like, this is them, I guess, inside the spacecraft, you know, like if, you know, it's AI generated. It's because it's like, how are these things inside the craft, you know? Like, um,
Well, maybe they're generating energy of some sort. You know what I mean? They're there to like to be like energetic, like you know, or maybe they were charging them with energy before they put them onto the planet. You know,
yeah,
their location.
yes. Very interesting. Mm. Um, yeah, I mean, but you can see it's like a very clear ley line. You know, it definitely goes down through DC and through the Yucatan. And even if you tune into this David Wynn's information, I guess he's also talking about the Mayans as well and some of the stuff. So, you know, when we talk about whatever happened to the Mayans, they just up and disappeared. Like really no one knows what happens to the Mayans, actually.
Yeah, I think they went to another dimension. You know,
You know, maybe they went back up to the ship.
yeah, yeah, that's
Maybe
true.
they went and, you know, through the moon. Like this is a moon corridor or a moon passageway. So it's just very interesting. Um,
Oh hell
one,
yeah! This is one of the most interesting things we've covered. You know.
yes, I know, right? It's like more is like unfolding, like, whoa, how far into this like wormhole in Greenland are we gonna go? But I think one thing that I've noticed is this tilted, curved ley line like this. That also represents the natural currents and flows of natural ley lines. So to me, that is an actual ley line.
Yeah.
They aren't typically like perfectly horizontal or vertical. They are typically like at the 23-degree angle. That is the true current. So yeah, I think there's some truth to this particular grid ley line for sure. Um, and then these were just the Nazi symbols that I thought we should talk a little bit about because I feel like this is what ties into those military bases.
Well, that you know what? Well, a lot of people know the sign on the left, but the sign on the right is the black sun sign. Ryushin talks about that. That's
Yes.
supposedly like an extraterrestrial sign. This one, if you see my cursor, this one right here, yeah, that's supposedly. I think that's the black suns, supposedly, or something like that. That's per Ryushin, I think. You know,
Yeah, no, that's true. But this is the Black Sun seal is originating in Nazi Germany.
wow.
It was the 12 sig runes that were that first appeared in the Wellisberg design underneath the Himmler or whatever, in the castle. This
Wow.
is that they did all their rituals on.
And what is the center thing? What's that?
Uh, I'm not really sure. That was
It
like
looks like a human. Like it looks like it because it got a head, two arms, and you
a
know.
little bit. I think it could be representative of the Thule. There is a couple images for there's when you look up like the Thule symbol. because interesting, they have a Thule military base in Greenland, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The Thule symbol, I think it's either this, or I've also seen it as like the Leviathan swastika looking cross, like it's a different
Yeah.
type of.
Like, how is that they have a Thule military base in Greenland? You know what I mean? And like, how does nobody question that? You know, with
That's
what
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think we need to start questioning this because I think what happened is, the Germans, Hitler, Himmler, all these guys, or Heinrich, they were all obsessed with Blavatsky's work, and Blavatsky taught about Hyperborea. And so I think they were the first they were the first race contacted by the White Draco lines, right? I think
yeah.
they probably went on some sort of quest and they were maybe used by the Dracos to place Draco seals in Greenland and either somehow tap off of this UFO's power or they were taught some sort of a pole modification technology. It's definitely time alteration of the planet. And I think they're using these symbols to do it. The Thule symbol, the Black Sun seal symbol, the Vril seal symbol. These are all power symbols that I think they're placing either in their beast machines or their technology, but they encode it into the machines, I think. Um, yeah. So so going back to, I'm throwing out my theories, okay? This is me throwing out my theories. What I think is that these symbols or these codes are somehow placed or powered in areas where we know there's heightened natural energetic sources of energy. A cryoplasmic Stargate opening and portal, two military bases on each side, one of them being a Nazi Thule military base. I bet you this area is plagued with Draco technology. That there's some sort of devices here. It's a divisive area. It shouldn't be a divisive area, but they could be, anchoring black magic there. They could be anchoring um, you know, whatever, all kinds of stuff. Like just karmic implications into the grid. They could be affecting the nervous system of the planet. Like that could be like a vagus nerve cranial interfacing into our, feed lines of our planet. They could have placed some sort of like, hive mind controller device there. Um, Ooh, I just got like, oh my gosh, my sacral chakra just felt so crazy when I said that. Like, I almost felt like I was gonna throw up. So I think I'm like hitting it on the head a little bit, honestly, in some dimensions. Um, yeah.
Well, I gotta address this comment. Mimi Ross or Nimi Ross says the real Ishmael Perez explains a lot of what's going on with Space Force and why Trump wants North America. Like Mimi Ross, first of all, why is he the real? Like, is there a fake one? And second of all, like, what are his qualifications? And third of all, you don't think we know about the secret space program? Like, did you see some of the people I have on here? I'm just saying, like, certain people, Mimi Ross or whatever your name is, Nimi Ross, or they're pushed by the agenda. I mean, I'm just going to leave it at that. But
Yeah.
okay. And certain people also, never mind. I'm just going to let it go.
Yeah. 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 It's a little bit of a trigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are some of the types that we know kind of, maybe kind of go fishing, you could say, in some of the smaller ponds for information,
Yeah.
and then eventually you see like a replica of your channel on their channel almost, and then it's like, wow,
Yeah.
it all kind of reveals itself.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting, just things that we take note of.
Exactly.
With Ishmael Perez, I get a lot of that too. People will like put comments and be like, "Did you see his work?" And da, da, da. It's like, well, we are kind of busy doing our own work, you know.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know. I just, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let it go.
Well, and this is why I brought up the fact that this UFO information is tied to this dude.
Joyful Jennifer in the audience said, "Go fish." Because you said they fish in a larger pond and a smaller pond.
You guys would be surprised how many people do that to both me and Rob.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
It's
There's
not
some
just
big
a
name
couple
people that
people.
watch my
It's a
channel.
lot of people. It's a few people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people cast their pole in my pond, you know, and
Hmm.
I don't, you know, yeah.
Which is interesting, right? Because it's like here you are, like technically a smaller name to compare to some of these people, and it's like, why are they, in your pond, like trying to steal all your like fish? Like it's
Yeah,
weird.
and guys,
Like,
we're not being egotistical at all. We're just like we both get like screwed by the algorithm. We both put in a lot of hard work, you know what I mean? Indy's content's really creative. I try to get some of the best guests I can, you know what I mean? And so for like bigger channels to be going after our content, it's like I don't know. I don't know. It just doesn't, you know. But we got a lot of good comments in the chat too. Andres Delgado, Chili Man, he says, great stuff, Rob and Indigo. And uh, Joyful Jennifer says, thank you, Indy, for your perspective. And so, yeah, you know.
thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
And I don't have a problem with that lady or whoever was telling him that. And I don't have a problem with Ishmael Perez either. I just don't like when I don't know. You know, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll just let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you.
I just
It's we have to let it go. We have, it's just like I think it would just be nice if people that are, taking basically directly taking your concepts and ideas, like that they would like wouldn't just steal, that they would just like at least be friendly and give you a shout out. Like, that's why I put this guy's picture here. I specifically put this guy's picture here to let you guys know if you come across this UFO Greenland thing anywhere else, it originally came from this guy.
yeah.
Okay, originally it came from his name is David Wynn Miller, and he's the one who brought all this information forward in a 2012 quantum grammar seminar that he did. This is all his original work. Uh,
Well,
where he got it from, I don't know. I've never even heard of his books or his material. I would like to learn more about it because I do think it's interesting. He's tapping into this quantum syntax. Like, this is what makes me think he was an actual contactee.
yeah.
Um,
I bet you he was. He looks like the type that would be a real contactee. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, we could just see it in his eyes. We're like, oh my gosh, this guy in his toupee.
No, but for real, he looks like and like in this picture, you can see like if I was just gonna read into him, he looks like he has a lot on his mind there. Like he's not in like in a good way. Like he looks like he's trying to really convey something in this image. You know what I mean? He looks like he's trying to like he's got like the weight of the world on his shoulders. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm.
Well, he was a anti-tax protester. So
That's awesome.
he's
That's what I
literally
like.
trying, he's a system buster. Yeah,
That's what we want
100%.
here. Yeah. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, well, whoever came up with the idea that to pay taxes anyway. I mean, that is such the, you know what I mean?
It's horrible. I got my hopes up so many times during the Trump administration, or at least when Doge was doing their work, that they would then take on the IRS, but that just didn't seem to happen. And I think we've heard 3 different times now that we're supposed to get um what's it called where they cut you a check?
Stimulus.
A stimulus. I've heard 3 different stimulus amounts getting thrown around. I heard we're supposed to get another one now for $2,000. So I'm
Well,
like, why do they keep just throwing this out there? Like, it's like I feel like they're doing it to like keep people like,
appeased and people
yes,
hopeful. Meanwhile, they never follow through with something. You know that they really need. They should follow through. You know, like
yes.
I mean, fuck, man.
I've already allocated the money. Okay, they better.
That's hilarious.
We have an event to put together. My goodness.
Yeah, I know about that event because I'm a part of it. Well, you know, I'm gonna help you with it, and like you know, like I'm all about it. You know what I mean? Like I'm like you know, like I'm definitely like if it's the event that you're thinking of, I think you're talking about. Yeah, that's an amazing event. Won't say anything about it now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll keep it on the hush hush until we're ready, but Yeah. But you know, it would be amazing if it could come through.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, this is
Oh
th-
yeah. Don't definitely don't say it because then somebody else will take your idea and then they'll apply for the funding. And next thing you see, you'll see them at that place. You know what I mean?
I know it. I know it. Oh my gosh. Ugh, yeah. You have to really wait until you're ready to make moves.
Yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
learning that now, right? We're learning.
Yeah. We are learning that more and more.
Man,
Um,
this episode should have the hashtag jaded. 'Cause I think we sound like we're so jaded. You know what I mean? Like it's like I mean like, but no, I don't know. You know,
well, we'll just put it this way. You know, I've been doing YouTube for just as long as, you know, a lot of these big name people. You
yeah,
know, I've been on YouTube just as long as Gene Decode's been on YouTube.
yeah,
You
and like
know, and I've talked to you about this before too. Like I've said things like sometimes I feel like if I was just a man or if I was just like meaner, if I had like a meaner personality, like maybe there's something, you know, that I'm just lacking that people can't,
so
you
I
know.
feel the same way. Sometimes I feel like, well, maybe if I was a hot chick, maybe I would get a lot further. But like, maybe it's just something about me and you. You know, that's why
Oh my gosh.
we got to stick together, right? You know, I
All
don't.
of a sudden we're gonna show up and have like identity crises. We're gonna be like, Rob's gonna be wearing a wig. Oh my gosh. No, no, no. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, this is about what I have, you know, decoded on this craft anyways. Supposedly it's coming out, you know, but if you try to look for like actual pictures of this or any sort of like proof that this exists, like of course there's not anything you can find on it. Um, but yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Should we fire up the phone lines and take a couple phone calls?
Yeah, sure. Should I? Oh, there's was one other thing I wanted. So I did actually find an actual UFO in Greenland.
Oh, you did?
Yes. This
What's
is not that impressive, but this is something that is there. It's uh where did they say it was located? And size begins with an S. Oh my gosh, I cannot remember now. Let me go back to my map because I think I put it on the map. Oh, it's here in Sisimiut. It's in this town here. But I guess they built like a UFO watchtower. Let me
if
go back to the
there's
picture.
mods in the chat, if you like, if you can, you guys share the call-in number, and I'm gonna log in right now, like in case anybody wants to call in. Usually we're on StreamYard, and I have the call-in number to put up on the screen. But since we're on Zoom, I can't share the call-in number. Like I can't share a banner or anything on Zoom. So I need you guys, like, if Jason's not here tonight, usually Jason does it. Or Jason, I think he's traveling today. So, but here, I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it's and the number, guys, is 573-877-7637. So I'm going to put that in the chat again. That's 573 uh 88877 7637. And don't call in just yet because I'm gonna log in real quick while she's giving this information. Sorry, go ahead, Indy. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Well, do you think I should just recap? I'll recap maybe a little bit, huh?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, like,
Until we get a caller, until we get a caller. Yeah. Well, because last time we talked about the Clark crater. And if any of you haven't seen Greenland 2 Migration, I would recommend going to see that movie. I had to go. It just came out on January 9th. You might have to go to the theater to catch it, but it should be coming out soon. But it's with Gerard Butler. I don't know if you guys can. I liked him when he was younger, but now he's gotten a little bit older. It's kind of, you know, but he's still looking okay. But I mean, it kind of gives the baseline for how this might actually be playing into the timelines is that this crater would protect us in Armageddon, Cataclysm, solar radiation storms, massive tsunamis, you know, mini ice ages. Basically, you know, when everything goes haywire, they're just expecting that there will be like no places to actually live like anywhere on the earth and that this is being preserved as like a Genesis sanctuary as a node that would kind of rebirth civilization. And having that said, I wouldn't be surprised if they're not already down there doing some crazy stuff, putting a freaking Stonehenge up in the middle of the dang thing, you know? Um, but this crater is also over by where those military bases are, and also where I'm thinking that they've placed the Draco seals. And I never thought in my life I would decode where they placed those Draco seals, but now it's all kind of coming forward. Now that we're looking at Greenland, which is very interesting. Yeah, so it's about here. I think if I go back to the map, the Clark crater it was definitely over here. Or I think it was up here. It was up here toward the north of the Thule military base. So there was and I talked about this on my channel, but there was a couple military operations that, you know, it was like Cold War missions. I think Project Iceworm was one of them. And they were connected to Camp Century. And this was where they were trying to build a network of nuclear missile launchers tunnels beneath the Greenland ice sheets. And this has to do with like the Soviet striking us first, you know, them attacking us basically. Basically, they're saying that, you know, if Russia was to attack us, everything would come over Greenland. So they want to put the Golden Dome over Greenland.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you put the Golden Dome over Greenland, isn't that going to melt the ice caps? Because that's like
because
constant
they would also
radiation.
install they would also install a massive weather modification system. We got 2 calls. Let's get it. Yeah.
Let's go.
Wait, it won't let me put a phone on speaker now. Wait. Fuck. What's going on here? Wait. Okay, there we go. All right. We'll take a couple calls. Let's see what people have to say. Hello, you're live on the air with IndigoAngel and Typical Skeptic Podcast.
Hello, is this me, Rob?
Yeah, hi. Who is this?
It's Missy.
Oh, hey, Missy.
It's Missy. I knew I recognized that voice.
Great topic. I mean, this has been on my radar since I went down to Florida last year and I started looking up cruises to Greenland because everybody wants to go to Antarctica, and you're talking, you know, what does it cost, like $14,000 to go to a cruise to Antarctica, and you can go to Greenland for like, by way of Canada from Baltimore on Carnival for about $2,500 each.
Wow.
Did you book your tickets yet, Missy?
She said, I don't know if you could hear India. I gotta get the audio interface hooked up. She said, did you book your tickets yet, Missy?
No, not yet. No, You're gonna. I got to get my passport renewed, but I'm just saying, it leaves out of Baltimore. That's not even far from you.
Yeah, that's not far
I've
at all.
got some other stuff coming up that works before that, but
are you?
No, that's just. I've just been thinking about that.
Are you seriously considering it, Missy?
Huh?
Are you seriously considering it?
I've been considering it for a while because I've been wanting to go to Alaska, and then when I look at the price of Alaska, I'm thinking it's almost like Greenland calls me more. You know, not just the hot springs, but it's this whole thing. You know what I just found out? Did you know that the biggest desert on the face of the earth are not like the Mojave Desert, the Sahara Desert? It's actually Antarctica and the North Pole, that area.
Wow.
They're cold deserts because they don't get that much precipitation. They're an ice desert.
Wow, that's interesting. I never knew that.
Yeah, and speaking of ice, there's some. You know, you hear about the winter storm watch. Are you in the path of that, Rob?
Yeah, I'm in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm in the worst part of it. You know, I think like, you know, because it's supposed to hit Pittsburgh pretty bad.
Yeah, and
Missy, I have a question for you.
Talk about all this weather nonsense again, all this crazy weather, what they're predicting, what they're planning with the ice storms, as you know, all the stuff with ice is coming up. Hey, Andy.
Yeah, she said she has a question for you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me, Missy? So
I
what,
hear you.
when you tune into this craft in Greenland, this UFO, what do you pick up on?
I heard something about the craft of the UFO.
Oh, she
What did
she said, I will get this audio interface hooked up. I'm sorry. She said, when you tune into this craft in Greenland, what do you pick up on? She said.
It's interesting about the Moai heads for one. Okay, I didn't know this. This is some intel that's great intel, Indy, that I was not aware of this. But I feel that craft, or whatever that thing is, has something to do with stabilizing the Earth grids, sort of like obelisk networks. Like, you can't just take obelisks down without there being consequences. So if this thing was removed, say, there would be dire consequences from like trying to just start messing with that craft. And I also pick up on radiation around that craft, and I pick up mercury around that craft, just like, because it's interesting. You also say ties in with the Yucatán. I'm gonna have to research this guy. There is one of those pyramids down there in the Yucatán. There is a big bowl of mercury, and you know how the Nazis were also obsessed with mercury.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You've heard of the Nazi bell, right?
Yeah, the Glock, right? The Glock.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. And then another thing is, recently I was talking to a friend of mine that and isn't it interesting that all this stuff about Antarctica, it's almost like it's a decoy. Not that it's not important, but the Nazis went to Argentina and the Nazis went to Antarctica. But why would they also have gone up to Greenland and the North Pole? I've always suspected something with it.
Yeah.
And another thing, did you guys see the pictures of my pictures of the Northern Lights lately and the weird footage that I got? I got something that looks like, I don't know, I'm almost picking up it has something to do with Medusa, a Medusa shield in her hair, because it's like these strands of light. And I think I was focused on Polaris when I was taking this, because Polaris is one of the lowest stars in the night sky right now, if you're looking to the north. Because when you're, taking photographs of these aurora borealis, you have to go to the north. And I'm back in South Carolina. I've been back here for about a week. I got back last week, and I've been communicating with the aurora borealis in North Carolina. But even in South Carolina, I can feel when they're coming. I can feel it. I feel there is an organic and an inorganic element. There's both things. There's something to do with the sun, and how your friend Rock Castaldo was talking about magnetic reconnection and different things with solar storms and CMEs and all this kind of stuff. Right? There's all that going on, but there's also the chemtrail element of the barium, aluminum, strontium, and all these things that they're spraying that is causing it to be colorful. And I even heard recently on Coast to Coast, another thing they're spraying is zirconium.
Yeah,
and they make.
Oh, sorry, Missy. I was just going to say, I'd love to see how that's going to tie into this winter storm that we're going to get. I want to see how bad people get hit. And I'm hoping, I told Indy this earlier. I don't know if you listened to the whole show, but I said, I hope they don't turn this into another weather warfare, reason to, take people out type situation. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm getting bad feelings about this,
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I've been really working on, certain parts of the country with dousing and things like that, like the more the east. I mean, because you can't hold everything, like North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, things like that. Where you are. Luckily, it's not coming anywhere near you. Remember last year, Indy, how we got it in the South? What did you get? A foot of snow last year? What was it that you got?
It definitely was not a foot, but it was a few inches, maybe 3 or 4 inches.
She said 3-4 inches, Missy.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah.
That's not common for the South. The South usually gets no snow, you know what I mean? Or very little, right? I mean, like,
Yeah, everything definitely shut down off those 3 or 4 inches, like
We
grocery
actually had
stores,
ice
everything.
on Editsville. We had about 6 inches of ice with about on our property anyway, with about 3 inches of snow over it, and it stayed around for over a week.
wow.
It was insane. It was insane because and it's even feeling like that here. We were out today. We went over to a town called Somerville and North Charleston, and then the weather had changed, and they said they're like sort of under a winter storm watch because they're inland. I mean, it's not like what Western North Carolina is going, but you can almost feel it in the air. This does not feel organic, what they're doing, and yet there is an organic element to it, just like when they made those hurricanes this past year. It's sort of the same type of thing. So they're doing the same type of thing, except they're using the cold instead of the warm.
Well, and it may as well come back to this craft that's being revealed all of a sudden at this divine alignment and timing that they're saying, like a lot of theories, it's actually a weather modification technology that they've placed in Greenland.
Did you hear that, Missy?
That would not surprise me at all because we have HARP in Alaska. So, and that's more of a 3D thing, but these type of outcroppings of these things are in many different places. And you brought up the Cold War. I mean, even in Western North Carolina, we have an outcropping place where they did experiments with radio telescopes and things during the Cold War called Perry, which is the Pisgah Astronomical Research Institute. And when we've talked about this before on the show, Rob, they have underground tunnels there. And there was, when we went there, we saw a seismograph that was showing certain things going on under the ground. So,
wow.
Yeah,
Holy
there's
shit.
all kinds of these weird things everywhere. There was, when I went to Puerto Rico, I was privileged to go to see Arecibo, and that's the same kind of thing. I heard that if they turn that thing on, it'll kill the birds if they fly over it, and it'll fry an egg really fast.
And what's interesting too, just to tie this into the weather modification UFO and the Gulf Stream, because they're saying this storm that we're about to have is because we had a massive Gulf Stream come up and meet the air pressure with what's coming down from Canada. And that's why it's, centralizing across the US the way it is. But that weather modification may be about ocean current modulation, like modulating the stream levers, the North Atlantic currents, the heat exchanges, ocean atmospheric pressure, like a lot of that layering. And like you said, it feels natural, but it also feels like bigger and bigger and bigger. You know what I mean? Like, why is this winter fern storm so cataclysmic across so many states? Is that really normal? Because I think this is very rare.
No, it's not normal at all. It's not. It's definitely weather modification. Yeah, and all that stuff that you say about what's going in the ocean, because now I'm back here between the two military bases, so I'm feeling all that stuff.
Yeah,
I have another question for you, Missy. Tune into this for me. When you pick up on that UFO craft, do you pick up on anything having to do with the artificial satellite of the moon and this being some sort of controller station with the moon? Like, does that resonate with you?
Yeah, there was a lot of things. I listened to your thing, and I didn't hear the beginning of what you guys were talking about, but it feels like there's some kind of anchor point, not just on the planet, but also off planet, which means, again, if that was moved, I mean, it's going to throw off, the tilt. It might have something to do. Get chills on this, that 23 degrees off tilt that we have.
And this ley line looks like that 23-degree tilt.
Is this why they want green? There's something more about, it's not just the World Economic Forum and Davos and Denmark and all this stuff. Is why Greenland? There's something else going on besides all that. something much
Oh
bigger.
yeah, it's that's what I would say. There's big time spiritual implications at play with Greenland, and I think Indy's, and you both you guys are starting to tap into what's really going on there, and I'm excited to be a part of it because, I think.
I mean, I think we should plan a trip there. I do. I mean, like I said, this would be an inexpensive trip compared to going to other places, and it goes through Canada. Now, your shore excursions, I haven't really looked into that, but just being on the ship, so you can do a lot of work, and you'll hopefully be able to see those sheets of ice, because I know it's like some of the last places on Earth that really have all the big sheets of ice too, which is like amazing. All the memories that are stored, holographic memory stored in the ice. And I started reading Peter Moon's book again. I was reading the
Transylvania Sunrise.
Transylvania Moonrise and the Secret Parchment. And I'm thinking, all the stuff they talk about inner Earth, it all ties into that too.
Missy, I tried to get a hold of him. I had his email before. I can't find it for whatever reason. I can't. I wanted to get a hold of him because I wanted me and you to interview him. Like I got to find his email. Like I can't find. I'm gonna have to reach out to him through his website or something. But I had his email because I interviewed him before. It was on my old channel. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Yeah, but I mean, I think you're onto something there. For sure. Absolutely.
Do you think, Andy, that this our tilt being off 23 degrees and some cataclysm happened that caused the Earth from being straight up and down to be turned on its axis, and the moon was put there? So does this object, I don't even want to call it a craft because it's too big to be it's something extra than a craft, this large craft object, weather modification, memory, holographic memory bank. And interesting, after the whole 3-Eye Atlas stuff, this being on the radar now. So is there a connection between all that? The moon, all the...
Yeah, no, I know.
It connects to the moon. It connects to... Yeah.
No, it's definitely all aligning and tying in. Like if you even look at this ley line, I mean, I would be very interested, not that I mean, to measure the tilt of that ley line specifically, this UFO, according to this, we'll say contactee, he's saying that came in 500,000 years ago.
I think I remember when I was down in Florida last year, didn't I say that the ley line of Greenland, didn't it go right through Mar-a-Lago too?
We could always look at that, honestly. Let me see.
Because, we know there is one of those Ark of the Covenant supposed replica things, but when you started talking about this today and I listened to your 20-minute update, I said, I think Mar-a-Lago needs to be looked at again. I think I need to go there again because I'm going to be going down to South Florida in about a month from now to visit family, so I'll probably be doing that again. And there's a replica of the Ark of the Covenant in Mar-a-Lago. A replica.
I would say it's very close. It's very, very, very close. Look at that. We just threw Mar-a-Lago on there. I mean, I got a couple lines going because honestly, I don't think this map is like the straightest or the bestest, to be honest with you. Like, I feel like I need a, something that's more accurate, but it's pretty close. And honestly, I mean, on the opposite side of that, we got SS2. So this is not only going through the Yucatán. I mean, this is definitely going through SS2. Holy crap. Let's put Sarasota on there. Man, that just gives me some chills. That gives me chills. This is definitely
You just happened to do another line, and you went from not Antarctica. If you went from Greenland, this area over towards Minnesota, a lot of focus has been on Minnesota lately, but I think there's something other going on in Minnesota besides what they
Oh,
tell you
it's
is going on
Missy.
there,
It's
too.
absolute craziness there. It's people on both sides fighting. Like I mean, like people are wearing bulletproof vests. They're calling people Nazis. It's insane. Like this Antifa shit has got to. I mean, they need to call. I heard someone told me they were deploying the National Guard. You know what I mean? Like people are. It's not. It's we know what side it is really for the most part, right? Like we know it's the libtards. It's the lefts. I mean,
Yeah. Well, they're out there trying to run them over with their cars.
Yeah. I mean, so it's like, they provoke this stuff. And then, you have George Soros funded, Antifa, that, I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, like, it's bad. It's bad. But something else is going on in Minnesota, too.
Beyond that, beyond Minnesota, beyond the left and the right and everything they're showing you and all the stuff with the military being stationed there, it makes me wonder what's in the Great Lakes. What's there that they don't want to come up to be seen that might be there? Is there something physically there?
Yeah, there could be.
Besides just all the drama and all the stuff, because a lot of times when this stuff comes up, there's and Gaza, look at that too.
I know what you mean, Missy. They throw smoke and mirrors, right? They throw smoke and mirrors to distract you. They always do that. It's like, look what's going on over here, but don't pay attention to what's going on really over here. The more esoteric, spiritual thing. I feel you on that. Because
you remember Saddam Hussein said he was the reincarnation
of Nebuchadnezzar. Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, he had Enki on the Iraqi dinar. He thought he was like a direct descendant of the Anunnaki. He had the Anunnaki on their dollar bill. And I connected with a soldier that was in Operation Iraqi Freedom, and he told me about how he went there and he saw the Marduk Gate and like all these ancient Anunnaki relics that are being basically hidden in Iraq that are also now being destroyed, because that's another plan that people don't know about, that they're actually, hiring like some of these like, CIA funded jihad movements to go and destroy ancient sites around the world, to knock off our real history,
I'll tell you, when you go up to North Dakota and South Dakota and places like that connect, not Minnesota, but that far north, and you feel like you're in dinosaur land, and it looks like Greenland. You're up on an elevation that's 5,000 feet, and South Dakota has the painted desert and some of those places with the petrified wood and all that stuff, and we know what that is. I mean, there was these huge trees, and they took those down, and it became like stone, right?
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder, like David Childress, David Hatcher Childress. I became aware of Little Egypt years ago and how there was all these Egyptian artifacts, and with these people connected to the Mississippi River in like southern Illinois, the Mississippian people and all these mounds, right? So with Minnesota, I'm just picking up there's some other thing, and it'd be interesting to see if there's some line that connects Minnesota into Greenland as well. And
yeah. It's definitely worth doing a deep dive on Minnesota and taking a look at the grid lines there. I think that's been crossing my mind that we do need to look at that in terms of the grids, and it's a contention zone for sure. I would say it might be an extension of Stargate 10. You know how I talked about before, we had extensions that were popping up of the arm, and New York City was one of them. And, with the Zoran Mamdani takeover, basically.
Yeah.
So I think it's another extension arm of SS10. They're like it's like an infection.
It's an extension of Stargate 10 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is a very fascinating. We might be looking at one of the most generating powerful ley lines that goes back to our ancient Hyperborean ancestors and Polarian ancestors on the planet. It's so crazy. We've never looked at this before, all the way up to Greenland. We've never evaluated this before, ever. So, yeah.
It's
And
weird how it's
in
coming.
this military base up here, this is connected to Sirius.
Yeah, it's weird how it's.
This puts to rest the Columbus story too, because Leif Erikson was born in Iceland and died in Greenland, or maybe it was the opposite. Yeah, I think so. It was either one or the other, but he was the one that discovered the Americas and Canada, and not Columbus.
Yeah.
Norwegian dude.
Yeah, well, but I better end the call now, Missy, because I gotta do another show to do in like 13 minutes. But like, do you want to give any shout outs or anything you want to promote or anything like that before we, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna get in touch with you, and I think it's great for all of us to talk again. But I'm gonna follow the stuff with this storm, and we'll get together and we'll be talking more about this whole weather piece. Yeah,
me and you talked about doing a show soon. I know we were texting it, so definitely for sure. And if Indy wants to join us, she can. Yeah, I'll text you tonight after my show with the Psychic Doc, and I'll yeah.
I'll say hi to the Psychic Doc. Yeah.
All right. I'll see you, Missy.
Bye, Missy.
Guys, bye.
Bye. And guys, that was the great Missy Hill. She's one of my favorite guests that come on the show, and that's because of IndigoAngel. I met her because of IndigoAngel. So, good friends, the three of us. So that's great. That was really great. Yeah.
Yeah. It was good to bring in her perspective. And yeah, I mean, she ties it all right in there. She really did bring forward that extra extension there of Mar-a-Lago and SS2. That is just blowing my mind right now. This cluster of energy here.
And she made a good point. Like maybe like Minnesota is also, like you said, it's an extension of Stargate 10, because I mean, we know that's Soros backed Antifa, like, you know what I mean? And Soros himself is an extension of Stargate 10. You know what I mean?
It's really Minneapolis that all of it's going down, right?
Yeah, with Tampon Tim as the mayor, The guy who wanted to put tampons in men's restrooms.
Right.
The guy who was
I think it's very telling that Kamala wanted him for her VP, and that, I mean, all the fraud that's now connected to this guy. I mean, like, gosh, who are we really going to bring in with Kamala? That's scary.
Yeah.
That's really scary.
It is. But that's that side, Like I said, I'm pretty neutral, you know what I mean? Like I call out Republicans and Democrats, but the libtards are very bad. You know what I mean? They're a whole class of demonics that, like, it's just insane. You know what I mean? They're on another level of crazy,
Now there's definitely a Stargate up here at the tip of Lake Superior. I think it's about right here. So yeah, just looking at this here with Minneapolis. And now is this is where most of the fraud is going down, is in Minneapolis?
I would say so, yeah.
Interesting.
But it's funny that Missy said that maybe something else is going on there. I never even thought of that, That's a good point, What else, I wonder, is in Minnesota? It's like you said, it's the Great Lakes area, could there be a big craft underneath the Great Lakes or something? Or like, what's causing people to go crazy and like battle each other and wear bulletproof vests and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like.
Well, you do have this massive reservation here. I do know that
it's turned into a war zone, like on both, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically like, like, it's like how we're living in civil times, like, that's absolutely not civil, and that's a part of our country. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on there? It's just like every time you pull up X, that's all you see. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of stuff I was seeing is that a civil war might break out here. I mean, it's getting that bad.
Yeah.
Did he call for an insurrection act? Did he actually do that? Because I think that was on the table, wasn't it?
I know he was supposed to deploy the National Guard, but I'll tell you what, I don't pay attention to it because I don't want to get myself worked up. You know what I mean? I mean, I feel like if it ever touches down to my home base, then I'll have to, get the guns out or whatever. But like for right now, you know what I mean? I'd rather just not pay attention to it. But even though I feel like it's my duty to as well, But it's
You
like,
know, I just feel like these areas like Minnesota, Wisconsin, where was the other? There was a bankrupt city. I think it was in Detroit. Detroit went bankrupt. I really think, all of the areas that it was having financial hardship, that laid the ground then there for Stargate 10 type invasions to happen.
yeah,
Because it's like, these cities aren't being funded that much. They're kind of being like people are leaving the cities and it's not generating business, so they're coming in and taking whatever because it's a political agenda for the SS-10 types to essentially take over. They're going to take whatever scraps they can get or find.
yeah,
And then I also get like a strong like Baphomet energy with this as well. Like there's like satanic entities that are connected to this energy feeding off of this. Like this is some sort of like demonic or satanic feeding loose site that there's some sort of harvest that's happening here. And that feels really disgusting and icky to say because I'm seeing it all just like all sort of parasitic energy just hooking into the sacral chakras and the root chakra of all the people like boots on the ground there.
yeah.
And and it's like walking through like mud where that's what's that mud called? Not quicksand, but like
Sludge,
n-
quicksand.
no, yeah, it's kind of like that, but like mud that like eats you basically. Like um but that's how it feels here. Like if you were to go here, it would feel like you are like your feet are heavy, like it's hard to walk. Um, yeah, and then there's just it's brutal. It's like the prey versus predator codes are running here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I almost see like the reptilian forms like interfacing with those like Ilhan Omar types, like they're shapeshifting, they're shapeshifters. She's a shapeshifter.
oh, she definitely is.
Yeah.
She's she's
Yeah.
she's a disgrace. Like I mean, how she even gets into like some kind of public service office, like just totally like I mean, like honestly, like who elected them?
Anti-American.
You know?
Yeah. I do know there's also a lot of like tribal like blood wars that are still going on these lands as well. I just did a reading earlier today and we were picking up on everything from Atlanta up to Cincinnati, down through Kentucky, that there was a lot of like, Indian tribal trifurcated bloodline wars that were still like needing to be cleared here, like right in the center. Interesting, right where the Ice Age storm is going through, right?
Yeah.
So, hmm, very interesting. There's a lot of ties. There's so much grid movement at this time. It's like mind blowing.
Ilhan Omar, she's a representative for Minnesota, So it's like shows you what her Tampon Tim. It's like the ultimate conglomerate of like Satanism.
And just anti-culture,
Anti.
anti-American.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Erode the system and flood it with invasion.
Somali
Uh,
pirates trying to rip
yeah.
people off. You know what I mean? And yeah,
Immigration without assimilation is invasion.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that it's here. It's like it's almost like some sort of splitter event that's trying to like cut the country in half because, let me draw a line. Minnesota. So this goes down through Arkansas, which is really the center of. Remember, we did all the grid work in Arkansas, and we did a lot of work on the Dove Light, and we did like all the natural crystal veins, like
Yeah,
all the organic grid infrastructure. That's the strongest and is the most center point of the U.S. That's there. So that's interesting that Minneapolis. So yeah, there's a lot to decode here. I think we could get into.
yeah.
Um,
We're gonna have to do another show. I got
yeah, it goes through the Ozarks. That's very interesting. This is cutting right through the Ozarks.
wow.
Yeah, there's something with that. Maybe they're harvesting the crystal resources, the crystal veins of the United States. Um, this is all Archon level satanic Stargate hijacking attempts, is what this is. That's what this is. This is, yeah, this is for sure an extension of SS-10 because they're trying to like leech into our energy resources and systems and tap off of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah. Well, let's close up shop for right now because I got another show in 4 minutes. But like, do you want to like follow up on this and we can do in part 2 or something? Or
Yeah, let's do a Minnesota.
yeah, I think we should have Missy too. You know, like or I know me and her have been talking about doing another show. Maybe the three of us could do a show, and maybe me and you could do a part 2 to this.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think Greenland's going to keep unfolding. I just, it's really interesting what keeps coming through with that. So yeah, I'm always up for it. So a lot of the things I talked about today with the Defender grid and the Moai, you can actually find a lot of that information in my book that's coming out. So 222. And you can go to my website, IndigoAngel222.com if you would like to pre-order. But I talk about the Moais, the Defender system networks, the connections to the Guardians. So I think these are just like, pieces of the puzzle that are tying into what's being revealed now. But yeah, if anyone's interested in that, they can purchase the book there on my website.
Awesome. Yeah. And guys, get a copy of her book, support the guests that come on here, and get it now while it's still at a lower price before it goes up on 222, and you'd be smart to get it now. And it's basically like it's a galactic Bible. It's huge. What is it? 1,000 pages?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Yeah. We're working on some certain elements, trying to reduce some size, but yeah, for sure. It's really big. It's packed. It's packed. So yeah, and it all ties into the grid breakdowns that I do with you too. So if people want to keep up on the intel, the vocabulary, the information, yeah, get the book because it's the text. It's the the education platform, I guess you could say.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much. And how can people follow you?
On Typical Skeptic Podcast, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. I'm always on, maybe every other week about maybe we do a show together. And then also you can find me on my YouTube at IndigoAngel. And also my Facebook too is pretty bumping right now. So you can follow me on Facebook too.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. I'll
Thank
talk
you,
to you
Rob.
later. All right.
Bye,
Have a good night,
everyone.
guys.